Hey there, everybody. Thanks for joining me for another one-man review. Today I'll be taking a look at Esther McManus's Mixed and Folded. This will be a real quick one. This is just this lovely little like poetry, comic, experimental, call it poetics of form. And I'll show you what I mean in just a second. But this is called Mixed and Folded. I love Esther's work. I think it's very beautiful, like you can see very poetic and like rhythmic in nature, really based on material. Like as you can see as I'm flipping through, there's different paper that have natural paper colors. So very couture, handmade comics. I know this isn't the type of thing for everyone, but I find a lot in these type of comics that are more mysterious and vague as to what they're about or like how to interpret them. I find a lot going on in them formally that I then like latch onto and think, oh, that's a cool strategy. Like, how do you use that to tell a story more? So to me, comics like this, I can just visually enjoy them as objects. I find them aesthetically pleasing, but then I also find them very inspiring. And part of what I'm talking about when I say poetical forms and part of like the ideas that inspire me are things like this. So we have this little image right here, and I noticed different in paper colors, and I noticed that it looks like it maybe got cropped off. So I flipped expecting to find the continuation of that image here. I kind of thought, since this book is called Mixed and Folded, that the images would be mixed and like folded together in some way. And I still think that's the case. I just don't quite understand how, which is part of, maybe the fun of this type of work is it's a little different in the way that you have to interpret it. But there's a control of meaning there and a control of reader response, at least, that has a poetic function, I think, which is like in a rhyme, I can expect in a poem that something's going to rhyme. So here I'm expecting that this is like part of an image that's going to continue here. And it doesn't continue here. So my expectation's been subverted, but I have been still given the rhyme. And then it winds up in the exact same place and piles on top of itself through like the x-axis of the depth of the book. And you see also that this other image that's on this page with it comes over as well, but it's moved. So there's things like that that generate meaning of a much different sort than like a narrative meaning that books like this rely quite a bit on, and that can make something like this that's really small. I mean, I think this is it's like 3 pieces of paper folded in half and then hand like sewn together, which is what I mean by its couture. It's very limited and hand done, but very beautifully. So it takes something like this that you could look at and think, well, there's not a whole lot of content here, and actually gives you a lot to sit and think over. Like there's all of this stuff here where it looks like food is being made, but then there's a lot going on where it's very focused on calligraphy and calligraphy pins, and there are words in here. It's kind of more like how David Mack used to do it in Kabuki, though, where they flow with the composition. And like just with all the flipping it back and forth and trying to find those little rhyme moments and puzzling it out, you can create a book that is really captivating and takes a lot of time for an audience to engage with, even though there's not much in terms of page length or whatever. And I think that's really important, especially for someone like me who wants to tell really deep, long character stories, but only has the time to do a 48 or 80 page book or whatever. Some of those compression strategies are very, very helpful. The most that I took out of this is that this is a book it's called Mixed and Folded. I think there's 2 things going on in here, and that's what you get, the 2 colors. This is obviously some kind of berries or something that's been collected, and then this is a fire that's being made, and we have a lot of this calligraphy and pen stuff in here. So at first I thought there was some food being made, and then here you see very obviously that an ink is being made and tested out. So I think that maybe the story is well, it's very obviously about ink being made. I think it might also be making some comparison to food preparation, but I'm not sure. These things are pretty vague. But I think this is largely just a tribute to ink preparation and calligraphy and image as word, almost in the same sense as poetry. And then really, really nice, like, because the production all through is done with the risograph, it feels like actual pencil on paper. So it feels like this hand done monograph, like from Esther here, like hand signed to me. Feels like it's printed on the page, because a lot of this looks, hand drawn on the page, even though it's printed on there. So that's really cool. And I really just like this. I'm actually surprised I had so much to say about it. I really think Esther McManus does some compelling stuff. I know it's not for everyone. I think Esther McManus knows that. These are very limited edition, hand done things, because that's how small the audience is. But it's great work, and it should be talked about, and it should be thought about and shared.